Have you ever felt like life is moving faster than you can keep up? One minute, things feel manageable, and the next, you're caught in a whirlwind of responsibilities, regrets, and worries about what's ahead. Maybe it's a health scare that rattled your sense of security. Or a career shift, family strain, or the quiet ache of missed opportunities that keeps you awake at night. As we move through the second half of life, these moments can hit harder. We start to realize how little control we truly have over the world around us, and how deeply that uncertainty can wear us down. But what if there was another way to face it all? A steadier way to live, not by ignoring life's storms, but by learning how to stay grounded in the middle of them. That's where Stoicism comes in. Not a dry philosophy for ancient scholars, but a practical mindset for modern life, especially in a world that often feels unpredictable. In this guide, we'll explore 7 timeless Stoic lessons that can help you reclaim peace, build emotional strength, and live with greater clarity, no matter what challenges come your way. If you've been searching for a way to breathe easier and live with purpose, this might be it. 1. Control what you can, accept what you can't. One of the most powerful teachings of Stoicism is also one of the simplest. Know the difference between what you can control and what you can't. At first glance, this may sound obvious, but in practice, it's life-changing. Think about it. How much of our stress comes from trying to manage things outside our reach? Whether it's worrying about the stock market, our adult children's choices, or a diagnosis we didn't see coming, we often pour energy into situations we have no power to change. The Stoics remind us that peace begins the moment we stop fighting what's beyond our control and start focusing on what's within it. Picture a sailor in the middle of a storm. They can't calm the wind or stop the rain, but they can adjust the sails, steer the boat, and keep themselves steady. Life is a lot like that. We may not control aging, the economy, or how others behave, but we do control how we respond. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who once lived as a slave, put it this way: we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. That's the heart of Stoic strength, not in changing the world, but in mastering ourselves. For those of us in our 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, this wisdom is especially meaningful. At this stage of life, we've likely experienced loss, illness, disappointments, or transitions we never expected. We've also learned, sometimes the hard way, that white-knuckling through every challenge only leads to frustration. What brings calm is focusing on the one thing we do own completely: our thoughts, our choices, our character. So the next time you're facing something difficult, a health issue, family tension, or just a bad day, pause and ask yourself, is this something I can control? If the answer is no, release it. If the answer is yes, take thoughtful action. This shift isn't about giving up. It's about choosing where to invest your limited energy, into the things that shape your inner life, rather than being consumed by what's out of your hands. The result? Less anxiety, more clarity, and a steady sense of peace, even when life feels uncertain. 2. Practice negative visualization. At first, the idea of imagining worst-case scenarios might sound counterproductive, especially when you're trying to live a more peaceful, meaningful life. But the Stoics believed that negative visualization was not about being pessimistic. Instead, it's about strengthening your resilience and deepening your gratitude. Negative visualization is the practice of occasionally picturing what could go wrong, not to dwell in fear, but to prepare your mind and soften the blow if hardship does come. When we do this intentionally, we often realize something profound: we've already been through tough times, and we've made it through. We are stronger than we think. Seneca, a Roman Stoic, put it this way: he robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. In other words, by imagining loss or hardship, we're not making ourselves miserable, we're disarming our fears. If the worst happens, we're emotionally ready. If it doesn't, we feel more thankful for what we have. Let's say you fear losing your job, or you're worried about a decline in health. Instead of trying to avoid the thought, spend a few quiet minutes thinking it through. What would you do next? How would you adapt? Most people find that once they walk through the scenario, it feels less overwhelming. You realize you'd cope, you'd adjust, and you'd still have value and purpose. This practice is especially valuable as we age. In our 50s, 60s, and beyond, life brings inevitable change, retirement, health shifts, loved ones passing, even relocation. By gently preparing our minds for these possibilities, we reduce the fear of them. And more importantly, we begin to treasure what we do have in the moment: a good conversation, a sunny afternoon, a simple meal shared with someone we love. You don't need to spend hours on this practice. Just a few minutes each day, perhaps while sipping your morning coffee or before turning in at night, can make a difference. Think of it as mental strength training. You're not inviting bad things to happen, you're building the muscles to handle them if they do. And along the way, you'll find yourself more grounded, more grateful, and more at peace with life's ups and downs. Because the truth is, nothing lasts forever, but that's what makes each day so precious. 3. Embrace the present moment. In a world filled with distractions, emails, headlines, social media, and never-ending to-do lists, being truly present can feel almost impossible. But for the Stoics, the present moment wasn't just a passing second. It was sacred. It was the only time where life actually happens. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." That simple line holds deep wisdom, especially for those of us who've seen how fast the years pass. We can't rewrite the past, and we can't predict the future with certainty. But we can decide what to do with the time we're given, right now. For many people in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, the past is full of memories, some cherished, some painful. And the future may feel uncertain: retirement, changing health, or the loss of people we love. It's easy to get caught between nostalgia and worry. But the Stoics gently call us back to now. Being present doesn't require meditation or special training. It simply means paying attention. When you're with a loved one, really listen. When you're taking a walk, feel the ground under your feet and the breeze on your face. Even doing everyday chores, like folding laundry or cooking dinner, can be grounding if you give it your full attention. Consider how much of our emotional energy is spent replaying old regrets or anticipating problems that may never happen. The Stoics teach that this mental time traveling only steals joy from the present. Instead, they urge us to live intentionally, to put our heart and mind into whatever moment is in front of us, no matter how small. Even during pain or discomfort, this mindset helps. If you're experiencing physical pain or emotional stress, bringing your attention to just this moment, not worrying about how long it will last, can reduce suffering. You realize you're handling this moment, and that's all you ever need to do. Living in the present is a daily practice. It doesn't mean ignoring the past or avoiding plans for the future. It simply means giving your full self to today. Because today is real. Today is where your loved ones are. Today is where your choices matter. And when you start living this way, moment by moment, you'll find that time slows down, life becomes richer, and peace becomes easier to find. 4. Focus on character, not reputation. By the time we reach midlife and beyond, most of us have learned a thing or two about how fickle public opinion can be. One day you're praised for your work, your parenting, or your choices, and the next, you might be misunderstood, criticized, or simply overlooked. In a culture where social media, status, and appearances often take center stage, it's easy to start chasing reputation instead of staying true to your values. But the Stoics urged a different path, one that puts character above image. Your reputation is how others see you. It's based on their perceptions, which can shift like the wind. Your character, on the other hand, is who you truly are when no one's watching. It's built over time through your actions, decisions, and integrity. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." That sounds harsh, but his message was clear. Growth often requires you to let go of how others see you. Doing the right thing may not always be popular. Standing up for your values might make you look out of step. But your inner compass is what truly defines your life, not someone else's opinion. Consider someone who refuses to gossip at work or stands up for what's fair, even if it's not the easiest path. Their reputation might suffer in the short term. But over time, their consistency, honesty, and courage speak louder than any rumor or judgment. And more importantly, they sleep better at night knowing they didn't compromise who they are. For those in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, this lesson often hits home. We've spent years building a life, and hopefully, we've come to see that what matters most isn't applause, but authenticity. When we focus on character, we stop chasing validation and start living from a place of quiet confidence. Ask yourself, am I living in line with my values? Would I make the same choice if no one else were watching? These are the questions that lead to a life of peace and purpose. Reputation may come and go. It's beyond your control. But your character? That's yours to shape, protect, and live by every single day. And in the end, it's what truly endures. 5. Keep a Stoic journal. By midlife, many of us find ourselves reflecting more often on where we've been, what we've learned, and what really matters moving forward. One simple yet powerful way to make sense of all this is through journaling. But not just any journaling, a Stoic journal. A Stoic journal isn't about documenting every detail of your day. It's not a diary of events, it's a space for reflection. It's where you pause and ask yourself, how did I respond to today's challenges? What triggered me? What did I handle well, and what could I do better tomorrow? Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, kept a personal journal that's still read around the world today. Known as Meditations, it was never meant for anyone else's eyes. It was simply a way for him to stay grounded, remind himself of what mattered, and wrestle with the same emotional challenges we all face: anger, pride, regret, fear. For those of us 45 and older, journaling like this becomes even more meaningful. At this stage of life, we're often dealing with big transitions, empty nests, aging parents, health concerns, or retirement. A Stoic journal helps us navigate those shifts with clarity and intention. You don't need to be a writer. Just spend 5 or 10 minutes in the evening jotting down a few thoughts. Ask yourself questions like, what did I do today that aligned with my values? When did I let emotion take over? How could I have responded better? What am I grateful for right now? This daily habit becomes a mirror, revealing patterns in your thinking, reminding you of your strengths, and gently pointing out areas for growth. Over time, it builds emotional discipline and self-awareness, both of which are at the heart of Stoic practice. Plus, in a world full of noise and distractions, journaling offers something rare: stillness. A quiet place to reconnect with yourself. No screens. No opinions. Just you, your thoughts, and a pen. And the best part? You don't need anything fancy. A spiral notebook, a few sheets of paper, or even a notes app on your phone will do. What matters is consistency, not perfection. A Stoic journal isn't just a tool for personal growth, it's a companion for the road ahead. One that helps you live more intentionally, with courage, clarity, and a little more peace. 6. Turn obstacles into opportunities. By the time we reach our 50s, 60s, or 70s, We've all faced our fair share of obstacles, health scares, career setbacks, financial strain, or the loss of loved ones. Life doesn't always go as planned. But the Stoics believe that what stands in your way can become the way, if you're willing to change how you see it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the very thing blocking your path might be the thing that strengthens you the most. Think of a river encountering a boulder. It doesn't stop, it flows around it, carves a new path, or slowly wears the obstacle down over time. Life asks us to do the same. Let's say you lost a job in your late 50s. At first, it feels like failure. But then you use that time to start a side business, return to a passion you once set aside, or mentor someone else. What looked like an ending becomes a turning point. Or maybe a serious health diagnosis forces you to slow down and prioritize what really matters, deepening relationships, improving your habits, or simply savoring each day. The Stoics didn't believe in pretending that hardship doesn't hurt. They simply taught that pain and difficulty are teachers, and that with the right mindset, they can lead to transformation. Of course, this doesn't mean forcing a silver lining on every tough moment. Some pain cuts deep. But even in those moments, we can ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger, wiser, or more compassionate because of it? This perspective helps us face adversity with grace instead of bitterness. It shifts us from a passive mindset, "Why is this happening to me?" to an empowered one, "What can I do with this?" And that shift can make all the difference. The truth is, obstacles are a part of life at every age, but how we respond to them changes everything. With each setback, we're given a choice, to give up, or to grow through it. When you learn to turn obstacles into opportunities, nothing in life is wasted. Every challenge becomes a chance to evolve, to deepen your resilience, and to shape a story worth living and sharing. 7. Practice gratitude. At this stage in life, many of us have learned that happiness isn't found in bigger houses, newer cars, or chasing the next achievement. It often comes from something far simpler and far more powerful: gratitude. The Stoics placed a high value on appreciating the present and being mindful of the blessings we already have. Seneca, a well-known Stoic philosopher, said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future." In other words, joy isn't about what we hope might happen someday, it's about noticing what's good right now. Gratitude shifts your perspective. Instead of dwelling on what's missing, it helps you see what's already here: a warm home, the sound of your grandchild's laughter, a body that still carries you through each day, even if it's slower than it used to be. These are the quiet gifts we often overlook, but they're the ones that truly matter. As we age, life changes. Some doors close. Loss becomes more familiar. But that's exactly why gratitude becomes so essential. It doesn't deny pain, it balances it. It reminds us that even in difficulty, beauty still exists: a good meal, a kind word, a sunrise, a song that brings back a memory from decades ago. Practicing gratitude doesn't require grand gestures. It can be as simple as writing down 3 things you're thankful for each evening. Maybe it's that hot cup of coffee in the morning, or a good conversation with a friend, or just the quiet comfort of a peaceful night's sleep. Some people keep a gratitude journal. Others speak their thanks aloud during prayer or reflection. However you do it, the key is consistency. Over time, this simple habit rewires your brain to notice the positive. You become more resilient, more present, and more at ease, even when life throws you a curveball. Gratitude also deepens your relationships. When you express appreciation to a spouse, a caregiver, a neighbor, it strengthens the bond between you. People want to feel seen and valued, and a simple thank you goes a long way. In a culture that often tells us to want more, gratitude teaches us to see more. not by adding to our lives, but by recognizing the richness that's already there. And when we start to live with gratitude, we realize we're not missing out on life. We're already in the middle of something meaningful. Conclusion. As we've explored these 7 Stoic lessons, one truth stands out: we may not control what life throws at us, but we always have the power to choose how we respond. That's the heart of Stoicism, not some ancient philosophy for scholars, but a practical, everyday guide to living with strength, clarity, and peace. Whether you're navigating retirement, caring for aging parents, dealing with health changes, or simply seeking more meaning in your daily routine, these teachings offer a steady anchor. By focusing on what you can control, preparing your mind for life's ups and downs, living fully in the present, and staying grounded in gratitude and character, you can face the future with quiet confidence. This isn't about being perfect, it's about making progress. Each day gives you another chance to reflect, reset, and grow stronger. You've lived enough life to know storms will come, but now, you've got timeless tools to weather them. So the next time life feels uncertain, take a breath. Come back to what matters. And remember, peace isn't found in changing the world, it's found in changing your approach to it. Stay steady. Stay grateful. Stay stoic.